So if they want to release it, it's okay with me to release it. It's perfect.
What was the
What were they
reason?
It's like
looking
my
at?
phone call where I got impeached. It's absolutely perfect.
Tell us what they were looking at.
For what, releasing?
No. What part of your body was the MRI looking at?
I have no idea. It was just an MRI. What part of the body? It wasn't the brain because I took a cognitive test and I aced it. I got a perfect mark, which you would be incapable of doing.
Did Trump just tell on himself? I think that he did, because this Air Force One interview where he's asked about, his MRI, and he goes like, oh, I don't know what part of the body it was, but all I can tell you is perfect, just like my perfect phone call with Ukraine. He sort of like suggests, well, it's definitely not on my brain. But when asked, hey, what part of the body was this MRI that you talk about? What part of the body was it actually done on? He goes, I don't know. Listen, as somebody who has had multiple MRIs done, I think 3 so far. I can tell you two things are definitely true. One is there is a 0% chance that he actually doesn't know which part of the body the MRI was done on. And two, it is not in any way a part of a routine checkup, okay? So just as background, I used to play rugby, all right? I played high school, I played college, I played men's league afterwards, and I've had 2 surgeries on both shoulders, and then I had one done on my knee as well, right? So like on my shoulders, for example, they had to do an MRI, and they went in and put in contrasting dye, and then the imaging shows like where there's tears in the cartilage, and I tore the cartilage in both of my shoulders. And that's the thing that actually makes the ball and socket joint, right? And so I had to have surgery on them because my shoulders kept like sliding out of place. I know, TMI, a little bit gross. But the reason that I had to have those MRIs done is that I did physical therapy literally for years to try and avoid surgery, okay? And so like when I would initially go in and I said, hey, I'm having pain, it feels like it's moving around, they told me to go do physical therapy and try and strengthen all of the rotator cuff muscles around my shoulder to try and hold it in better. But the surgery is usually the last resort, and the only reason that they did the surgery is because they confirmed with an MRI, yeah, you do in fact have torn cartilage in your shoulder. And so that's the reason why it was done. This is not in any way a part of like preventative maintenance. Nobody just orders an MRI for the fun of it, okay? And like you wouldn't anyway. Like MRIs kind of suck. Like they take a long time. You have to sit really, really, really still in like a giant tube for like 45 minutes. And they're loud, but they're not cheap either. Not like that matters to Trump. But here's the other thing: the part of you that they're scanning is the part that actually goes in the MRI machine, right? So if Trump doesn't know that they're doing something on his brain when they put him into the MRI machine head first, like I said, there's a 0% chance that he doesn't know that they're doing a scan of his brain. And the only way that he wouldn't know is it would confirm suspicions that like he has total full-blown dementia. And the reason that he's probably having this done is because they're trying to track the progression of how bad it is. They're not like just doing a checkup to make sure that he's doing okay. And we have tons of evidence that this is probably what the case is, because there are interviews from people and his own family members, even like Mary Trump and Fred Trump Jr. or whatever. Like they've openly spoken about the fact that Fred Trump, Trump's dad, had dementia or Alzheimer's, and so they know that it runs in the family. And his brain is just shitting the bed so badly. Like it's been bad for a while, but it's gotten way worse recently, and you can see it in the way that he talks. You can see it in the way that he like can't complete sentences or keep a coherent thought together, but also physically. And this is the other thing. So this doctor, I found him on Instagram once, and he's really funny. He goes through and basically discusses what's probably going on here. We'll take a look real fast.
I'm a physical therapist with a doctorate in my field and 14 years experience working in home health care treating geriatric patients with dementia just like this guy.
It's perfect.
What was the what were they
It's
looking
like my
for?
phone call where I got impeached. It's absolutely perfect. So
Why would you make the connection between the MRI of your brain and being impeached? It's because you know your ass is grass as soon as anybody finds out that they're doing MRIs of your brain to track the progress of frontotemporal dementia. You stupid fuck.
if you want to hear about it or if you want to release it, do you want to have it released?
Yes,
News Nation,
please.
failing News Nation.
No, sir, we're not failing.
News Nation is doing lousy, by the way. But if you want to have it released, I'll release it.
Please, can you tell us what they were looking at?
For what, releasing?
No. What part of your body was the MRI looking
I
at?
have no idea. It was just an MRI. What part of the body? It wasn't the brain because I took a cognitive test.
Which means it was the brain. There it is. My God, all of MAGA cannot help but project the actual truth when they're trying to defend themselves. He thinks because they make him take the mocha that they didn't do an MRI of his brain. Brother, that doesn't make any fucking clinical sense.
And I aced it. I got a perfect mark, which you would be incapable of doing. Goodbye, everybody. You too.
He's getting more and more disinhibited due to the brain atrophy. Literally, his brain is shrinking inside of his skull, and he will lose the ability to filter what he says at all. That's why he's getting more and more insulting every time he talks to reporters, especially female reporters, because he hates women. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I've said it before and I'll say it again. When you combine these dementia symptoms with probably a history of stroke and TIA, heart failure, chronic kidney disease, I think he's got 3 to 5 months left in the land of the living. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
So like he says, there's a strong possibility that Trump's either had a stroke or mini strokes or what they call TIAs, and they're doing these MRIs to monitor that. And this guy also talks about like the hand bruising, which I was talking about in the last video, where that's probably from some sort of IV injection that he's getting, like kidney medicine intravenously, something like that. He's basically said that, you know, like he treats people like this all the time. He's very familiar with what kind of test you would do and what kind of medicines you would administer. And you guys, if you remember, there was a while ago when, like, you know, when Trump just disappeared from the scene for like a week or something like that. And that had never happened in 10 years where Trump just suddenly couldn't find a camera. And then they come up with this whole like, oh yeah, no, he was just doing his annual physical or whatever. And then he went back and got another MRI 6 months later. And they said, no, this is just part of his annual exam. It's like, so it's 2 annual exams and he's getting an MRI this time. And you don't think that, like, that's, like, a follow-up to make sure that, like, the things haven't gotten worse? It's so ridiculous. Of course, the White House is going to come out and they're going to say, like, no, everything's fine. This is totally normal. Guys, this is not normal. This is not normal. Nobody gets an MRI for fun. Nobody does 2 annual physicals a year when you do an annual, meaning once a year. And again, all of the evidence between slurred speech, him like swinging his leg weird, the hand bruising, the what looks like a catheter bag on his legs, the swollen ankles, everything. Trump looks like he's fallen apart, and I think he sort of accidentally admitted to it on Air Force One. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments below. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.